Okay. So here is the basic architecture. This is the Ralph Kimball model, which I leveraged from, and this is called as the data warehouse bus metrics. If you look at it, here we have the source systems. So far we have talked about source systems, like one system is your ATM center, where it is generating transactions. The other system is tellers, where they take your request and work on it. It is a transactional system. The other could be a remote web-based service. Like you can access your Visa card from any ATM, not just your own bank ATM. So that is the external system. So we have the three operational systems. Now we pull the data into our data staging area, which is you are going to combine all this. You don't want redundant data. A customer is a customer is a customer. A product is a product is a product. It cannot change. Though the same product, your Visa number exists in all the three systems, but when moving into a data warehouse, you want only one of them to be moved. So you pull the data into a data staging area. After the staging area, you prepare the data for the presentation, which means here answers the Arvind's question. You would move only the important or the required data that can answer the business questions into your data presentation layer. You will extract the staging data into staging area, everything. You extract everything, whatever is in your operational system. You transform it, you quantify it, and then you move only the required data into a data presentation area, which is our data warehouse. The data warehouse will have more than one data mart, and we will come to that and look at it in clear. What is a data mart? How does it differ from data warehouse? So in the data presentation area, whatever you see here, the dimensional atomic summary data based on single business process, that is what is a data mart. When you look at it, it is summarized data. If you ask an individual transaction that has been processed in the ATM, it may or may not store. Why I say it may or may not? Some of the business models, they wanted to keep every transaction also in the data warehouse. The granularity of data is being defined by the business, not by IT. So if they say we want everything, you can store everything, but then, it is again, the single family home can accommodate only certain number of people. And if you say, I want everyone to reside in the same home, then you have to buy a palace. So it is the same way a data warehouse is constructed, looking at the budget, looking at the requirements, how many people you wanted to stay in a home, how much data you want to hold in a data warehouse, how many people can. Okay, this is the basic architecture. So the data is in summarized format. So the data access tools, which is like a business objects reporting tool or Cognos or MicroStrategy, any tool you call it, it will be used by report writers. They have to do forecasting reports, they have to do scoring reports, data mining reports. Data mining, no option, it shows 3 people. Okay. So you see the basic architecture. This is the basic architecture of a data warehouse, and this is the recommended architecture by the master, or we can say the father of data warehouse. He is Ralph Kimball. So there are 4 separate distinct components of a data warehouse environment. To name them, it is operational source systems, data staging area, data presentation area, and the 4th one is data access tools. So you have to understand, data staging area is only for the developers. It is the kitchen in a restaurant. In the kitchen, does a customer have access? The answer is no. In the data presentation area, you will only provide that is being ordered by a customer. So you are the waitress there. You go provide it. Then the data access tools, nothing else than your mouth. You want to gallop everything at a time or eat spoon by spoon, it is up to you. That is the data access tools finally. So these are the 4 different components of a data warehouse. And then operational source systems. Let us talk about each of them. What is an operational source system? Because in the data warehouse model, these are the 4 key components. We are talking about each of them. So the operational source systems. These are the operational systems, a system of record that capture the transactions of a business. It is responsible for that. The source systems should be thought as an outside the data warehouse, because presumably we have a little or no control over the content and format of the data in these operational legacy systems. Which means just to move data into your warehouse, you cannot ask them to modify the source. What it means is you are planning to move from your single bed apartment into a single family home. If you put a request to the apartment manager, can you now my door is very small, I cannot move all the items at a time, can you make it double size? Will he do it for you? You don't have any control on that apartment complex or your own apartment home that you are living. So you have no access to the source systems except the read-only access. You can get out your data, that is they'll give you, but you cannot modify the content of it, you cannot change the structure of it, nothing can be performed on the legacy systems, which means as far as a data warehouse engineer is concerned, they are outside your scope. You cannot do anything. The main priorities of source system are processing, performance, and availability. So that is the main priority. They have to be available for the customers to process their request, and it should perform in time, and it should be made available. That is what is important. And queries again a source system are narrow, one record at a time. Queries that are part of the narrow transactional flow and several restricted in their demand on the operational system. So queries against source system are very narrow, which means it is a customer request. You do record by record. You are trying to withdraw an amount, deposit an amount. It is one transaction. So it is a record by record. You cannot go ahead and do and summarize a query on the operational system. That no one will encourage you. We make a strong assumption that source systems are not queried in the broad and unexpected way that the data warehouse typically is queried. So you can't do analysis on the source system. That is what we are trying to tell you. Operational source systems are required for the transaction processing to answer the customer queries, not the business queries. If business want to analyze, it is not going to permit them because it's a challenge and it's going to be a performance glitch if they try to analyze the data in an operational system. So the source systems maintain little historical data, and if you have a good data warehouse, the source systems can be relieved of much of the responsibility from representing the past. So the history is moved into data warehouse. But to Arvind's question, it is not monthly you move it one time. Every day it has to move. If you are trying to move it monthly, it is not going to happen. All at a time, you can't do it. And then each source system is often a natural stovepipe application, where little investment has been made to share common data such as product, customer, geography, calendar with their operational source systems. So what it means is a stovepipe. You have a gas cylinder and a stovepipe, which will give you only a little gas as much as is required. It cannot, if you try to give the entire gas from the cylinder, it's going to burst. So the stovepipe example is the right thing to talk about an operational source system. They are not for your business analysis. They are purely for the customer. They are good to cook in a kitchen, but they are not good to cook in a restaurant. That is how it is. So it would be great if your source systems were being re-engineered with a consistent view. I mean, anytime it is required, depending upon the source system capacity to hold, they keep adding memory. They'll say server downtime, maintenance, and all they do it. so that it becomes easier for you to access the data and move it into data warehouse. Such an enterprise application, EAI, enterprise application integration effort will make the data warehouse design take far easier. I mean, you need to be always keep upgrading your systems. Only then it makes it your life easier. I mean, it is as simple as you have a refrigerator which is too old, you can't really hold meat in it, you change it. That's the same way you want it to do in a data model, in an operational system. You go and modify and then upgrade it. Now comes the data staging area. This is our important area, guys. You're all going to hop on to the data staging area. You will not have too much of access to the source system to modify the data in the real world, but in my lab, you're okay. You can go and modify the source system if at all you want, because this is the test data that will provide you. But the data staging area, the very important area, this is the kitchen stadium for you. You are the one who is the owner of data staging. No business user can access it. You are the one who is going to extract data, transform data, cleanse data, standardize data, and then move into the presentation layer. Let us see what are the priorities of a data staging area. The data staging area of a data warehouse is both a storage area and a set of process commonly referred to as extract, transformation, and load, which is ETL. This is the core thing. Now we are stepping into the terminology of ETL world. The data staging area is very much required for you to be a developer. So the data staging area is everything between the operational source system and the data presentation area. This is the one which connects between the two. It is somewhat analogous to the kitchen of a restaurant, where raw food products are transformed into final meal. In data warehouse, guys, give me one moment. I have the power problem. I mean, it may shut down. I have to pull out my power adapter. Give me 1 second. So staging area, compare it exactly like a kitchen stadium. If you are a chef, you understand how the kitchen will be. Half will be cut, half is uncut, half cooked, half reproduced. You have everything in it. You are the one who is going to make a small curry and then deliver it. So in the same way, compare it, the staging area exactly as a kitchen stadium. So in the data warehouse, raw operational data is transformed into a business, into a warehouse deliverable fit for user queries and consumption, which means related to the regular day-to-day life. In a restaurant, they cook everything in the kitchen, but they will not come and really give the same thing. They will give you only what you ordered. So staging area is like the kitchen stadium, guys. And then, similar to the restaurant kitchen, the back room data staging area is accessible only to the skilled professionals. If you go into the kitchen, unprofessional person, you would cut your head. So it is only accessible from the back door, and it is only for the professionals. That is the staging area. Here in the developer is the person who can go on it, who knows end to end how to access data, how to transform it, take care of the sharp knives sitting there, can only access this. So the data warehouse kitchen staff is busy preparing meals and simultaneously cannot be responding to customer inquiries. So you are meant to cook. You are not meant to respond to the customer. That the BI people will take care of it. Business intelligence is the waitress sitting there. The important thing, though it is funny, customers are not invited to eat in the kitchen. They can sit in the front and then wait for the meal to appear and eat. If you are sitting in the kitchen, you can't really eat. How dirty it looks in a kitchen, you understand. So it is certainly not safe for the customer to wander in the kitchen. We would not want our data warehouse customers to be injured by dangerous equipment, hot surfaces, sharp knives, and many encounter in the kitchen. So we prohibit them from accessing the staging area, which means the data is not yet ready for the business, guys. It is only in the developer's hand We will make it ready as per the requirements given by the business. And that is what I'm trying to put in a sweet way so that you can understand. So besides things happening in the kitchen that customers just should not be should be prior to, the key architectural requirements for staging area is that it is off limit to business users and does not provide queries and presentation service. That is the important thing. You have to make a note of it. The architectural requirement of data staging area is off limit to the business users. That's a statement. No business user can access your staging area. It is only for the architects, for the developers, for the business analysts. They can only come into the staging area and take a look at it. All right. Any questions on staging area, guys, before I move to the important part of ETL? I'm expecting some questions in the staging area for sure.
Yeah, I have some questions here.
Go ahead.
So the staging area, okay, would this be a day-to-day activity of we would be loading data toward a daily, or it would be a one-time activity?
Wonderful question. So I ask you, to answer your question, I asked you a question. Sorry about that. So you are moving from your one bedroom to your new family home.
Mm-hmm.
As we tell you, are you going to move every day, or you are trying to move away and then later buy some more furniture?
I'm trying to move away, later buy some more furniture.
That is the same way in the data warehouse. You take all the historical data as an initial load, put it into the data warehouse. Then from the next day, you get every day some data. So staging area is going to be used in this way. First, you do an initial load. Then you will do a delta processing, which means everyday activities are being moved into your single family home.
Okay. So is it, I should say...
Yeah, I keep using data warehouse and single family in vice versa terms. Please try to understand that. Okay.
So should I say that data staging is something like, okay, let's say that you take data from a source system and then you structure them and put it in one place?
Yes, that is correct. But the staging area is, it is still unstructured. You have to extract the data as it is, and then you are going to structure it properly, which means you are buying raw vegetables from the market. You are the one who is going to make the recipe in the kitchen. So compare it like that.
Is it something like a database?
Staging area is purely a database. That is right.
Okay, so I mean, would the data will be there persistent, or would it not be persistent? So data would be there at that time, or I can go back any time and I can get the data.
In staging area, the historical data first you will extract just for your analysis purpose. You will take some sample data, analyze, and then prepare the data to move into the target. And then every day new data comes in, right?
Okay.
That data will flush out the history. So your history is archived, or it has been truncated. No more historical data in staging area. It will have only 1 day worth of data when you are doing it in batch load, nightly load. It will not have any history in the staging area.
So let me ask you this. I'm getting data from a source system which is going to be obsolete. Okay, so they're going to get rid of the source system. So where should I store the data? I mean, could I use data staging area, so where one-time activity I get all the data necessary, and then the source system is shut down?
Even though they are going to shut down a legacy system, they are shutting it down for the customer, for the business. But data is still available. You are at the back end. The application is shut down, but you can move the data from there into your staging area.
Okay.
To be very straight answer, they will not shut down the system unless they certify the data is moved out from it in a proper way, and it is moved into another system.
Okay.
A legacy system cannot be replaced by a data warehouse, period. A legacy system would be replaced by some other application.
Correct. Okay.
And so that will be data migration, that will be data conversion. But data warehousing is purely like the library. You are going to store all the books.
Okay.
But it is not like you are going to, retire the shop. You still have the shops, you still get the new books and store it there. Okay, it's like that. So your operational system, if they shut down, they will go into a new operational system, but they will not move into a data warehouse directly. So they will replace that system. That is a data migration or the conversion project you are talking about. There also the staging area exists. Only the target is going to be in a different dimensional model. It won't be denormalized form. It won't be the facts and dimensions. It will be more of a third normal form or a fourth normal form, a regular database application.
Okay. So the reason for my question is, see, in a typical implementation, okay, they decide, okay, after go live, we are going to shut down the legacy system, okay. So, what after go live, they decide, oh, we missed something, we need to load the data, I'm trying to understand.
The process. The business will do a reconciliation process.
Okay.
And still, to be like very particular about it, they keep this data archived. It will not be in the staging environment, but they will archive the data. Sometime it will happen. As you told, I have missed some 10 customers in my source system. Can we now go and get it? Yes, you can still go and get it because it's a database. They are going to shut down the system, but not kill that data in it.
Okay.
And if at all they want to kill the data, even they write this data into a different hard drive or tapes, or they archive it and keep it. They won't really throw away. You get me, Arvind?
Yeah, I got it. Yeah, thanks.
Perfect. So data staging area is like this. It is only for the developers. That is a very important point we need to understand. It is not for the business. And now, extract, close look at the data, transform, and then load. Why I call close look at the data is without looking at the data, you can't really transform. So in here, let us go step by step. Okay, I think it is put in the auto mode again. It's continuously popping out. Never mind. So it is acceptable to create normalized database to support the staging area. So the staging area is exact replica of your source. Normalized database are excluded from the presentation area. So the same normalized database is not going to be or never going to be used for business intelligence tools to get the data and process them. So staging area, still remember, it is the kitchen stadium. You are the one who has access. No one else has the access. So extraction is the first step in the process of getting data into the data warehouse environment, which I'm talking about the first line here. Once the data is extracted to the staging area, there are numerous potential transformations such as cleansing of data, correcting, which is misspellings, resolving domain conflicts, dealing with missing elements, or parsing into the standard formats, combining data from multiple sources. This is all going to be done in staging area, which you relate to the kitchen. You have bought the raw vegetables from market. Now you have to cut them into pieces to cook. You have to see if there are any unwanted stuff, bad stuff. You have to wash out the dirt. You have to take out the ripened fruits. You have to take out the spoiled or not be ready for cook. Everything has to be cleaned and properly been submitted for the presentation layer. But they cannot come into the kitchen and ask you to be perfect. No way. So deduplication of data and assigning warehouse keys. What is this warehouse keys? There's some new term I'm trying to use here. Deduplication, anyone can understand. As I mentioned, I have 3 source systems. I have the same visa number in the 3 source systems. But while I move into data warehouse, I'm moving only one visa card number. It is not 3 times I would do that, which will be redundant data. So I avoid duplication. But assigning the warehouse key, what does it mean? Assigning the warehouse key is nothing but giving a surrogate ID, giving a sequential number, giving a dummy identification number for you. For example, you have a customer, you have a visa number in 3 different source systems. It is the same visa number, you moved into the staging area. So you will still name it as 1, 2, 3. You will number it as 1, 2, 3. And then compare and see, okay, these 3 visa numbers are the same. Let us try to dedupe and then pass only one number into the data warehouse. There you assign the warehouse key. We will really look into it when we build the data mart. Don't worry about the surrogate key. You will understand it. I will make you understand it. So these transformations are all precursors to loading the data into data warehouse presentation area. Loading in the data warehouse environment usually takes the form of presentation, the quality assured dimensional tables to be the bulk loading facility for each data mart. Don't worry about it. Bulk loading and all, we will come into it more technical terms when we really build it. You are going to look at the ETL tool where you have all this. How you build a surrogate ID, how you allot a warehouse key, how do you do this bulk loading, everything will be shown there. The target data bot must then index the newly arrived data from query performance, for query performance. When each data mart has been freshly loaded, indexed, supplied with appropriate aggregates, and further changes that have occurred in the underlying dimensions and new assumptions that have been introduced into the measures are being measured. Don't worry about it. Whatever we are saying is, in the target data mart, when the data arrives, it should be aggregated. It should be ready for the further processing. I see there is something missing in this slide. Let me see. Like I think it is just a format issue. Let me expand it. Yeah, measured or calculated facts, introduced into the measured or calculated facts. We will see the dimensional model where you will understand this. Don't worry about that. So let me quickly go into the next slide where you will have more meaningful information. So this is about the staging area. Anyhow, you will be working on the same staging area. You are the one who is going to clean the data, and we all make efforts to make it a perfect data warehouse. Finally comes the data presentation area. After kitchen, you have your front of the restaurant where the customer is sitting, waiting for his dish he has ordered. It should flavor properly. It should be decorated properly. It should be supplied properly. It should be served properly. All that in the data presentation area. The data presentation area is where data is organized, stored, and being made available for direct querying by the users, report writers, and other analytic applications, which means you are the one who ordered for the food. Now the food is made ready, available on the plate. You are the one who is going to cut it and have it, or have it with your spoon or hand, however you want to have it. Toss it and then eat. No one cares. Those are the ad hoc queries I am talking about, guys. User can direct his own queries, write a report, use it for the analytical applications, because other analytical applications like data mining tools by itself can do a magic. If you go and look at the data, there will be an indirect relationship which a tool can understand, a human mind cannot understand. It will finally, a data mining tool will show you a report saying the person who came in a red car with a white shirt brought more beers. How does that relate? You can't. But the data is showing that if you store the data, if you capture the color of the customer, color of the car, color of his shirt, and what the product he's buying, it can relate between those two and give you a report saying people with white color shirt buys more beers and people with black color shirt bought more wine. It can give you that report. That is what data mining tool does. The preparation area is a data warehouse as far as the business community is concerned. So this is the presentation area. I mistaken it as preparation area. It is the presentation area is the data warehouse as far as the business community is concerned. So for them, they doesn't really look at the staging area. They want this data warehouse access. The business intelligence tool will access and then provide their answers to their questions. It is all business community sees and touches via data access tools. You know, it is what these data access tools are nothing but the fork and the knife, guys. No one wants to use their hand to eat, so the report writers come into picture. Here we can call those fork and a knife as the data access tools, which is business intelligence tools. You cut it properly, slice and dice it, have it. Nice. So a data mart is a wedge of overall presentation area of a pie. A data mart is one part of it, which means relate it like this, guys. Look at your full meal plate. You have rice, you have curries, you have dessert, you have curd, you have water side sitting to it. What is the relationship between all this? They are all part of your meal, but they are all different flavors. They are all meant for different purpose. In a data warehouse, in the same way, you have customer dimension, product dimension, market dimension, time dimension. That is the same thing if you look at it, you're a food plate. So the data mart is a wedge of overall presentation area of a pie. So we will see what a data mart is now. I mean, it is one portion of the data warehouse. If you call it as rice, it is only one portion. It is not full of it. But if someone asks you for rice, you have to provide only rice. You can't give them something else. So it is a wedge of, what is a wedge? If you look at it, it is a potato which is cut into, sliced into, and it is one part of it. So they are trying to compare it. Data mart is a wedge of a data warehouse. We will see the beautiful architecture finally where you will understand it really clear. The data mart presents the data from a single business process. A data mart is a subject-oriented database. So it cannot answer for all the business. For example, you have a business where you produce the goods, like let us take our own example of Priya Pickles. Priya Pickles is, we can say, three different business. One is the production of it. The second is marketing and sales. The third is, you can say, advertising department or HR department who has to manage all the sales and marketing and the manufacturing. So there are three different business processes. A data mart is, it can answer only the HR question or the sales and marketing question or the plant related question. There will be three different data marts for them. And they can be connected together with the organizational data, which we are going to see. So data mart presents the data from a single business process, not for all the business processes. Whether it is production or marketing or support, it can only do one thing. So we insist that the data be presented, stored, and accessed in a dimensional schema. So we'll see what this dimensional schema is in a bit. Dimensional modeling is the most viable technique for delivering data to data warehouse. So dimensional modeling is very much required. You can't really present the food as it is like you get in the market. So the presentation layer has to be modeled properly, only then users can take it. So in the queryable presentation area of data warehouse must be dimensional, must be atomic, must adhere to the data warehouse bus architecture. So as I mentioned, this is for the business people. It should be most atomic. I mean, it is more or less like having a full chicken, full bird on the plate and having it as a leg piece or lollipops on your plate. So they should be atomic, friendly for the business person to access the data, friendly for a customer to eat the chicken. If you give a full chicken, a whole chicken, can someone eat it? It will be humorous. So it is only a part of it, the atomic data, most adhere data. So people will be very picky. I want breast piece, I want leg piece. In the same way, business is very picky. They want the dimensional data, they want most atomic and most adhere data from the data warehouse bus architecture. That is what the data presentation layer will talk about. Finally, they want a better presentation, guys. No one in the world wants to look at the report